Welcome to part 2 of my top 10 PlayStation 1 video games of all time. If you missed the first video, I'll link to it below. Today I will be covering 7, 6, and 5. Legend of Legaia. It looks like Legend of Legaia came out in about 98, 99, so I would have been no more than 10, 11 years old. And I remember what I thought was so cool about Legend of Legaia was that whole concept of the mist, right? Like there's monsters that lurking in the mist and it just makes people act kind of weird and wonky. And it was kind of creepy in its own sense. Around that time I'd been trying to play Resident Evil, and the key word to that is I had been trying, but I just couldn't play Resident Evil. It was too scary. As much as I loved the concept and the story behind it, my poor like 10, 11-year-old brain was just like, oh my god, zombies are gonna eat me. I can't play this anymore. So Legend of Legaia kind of had the same elements, right? You have the mist generator, and you have the mist, which just, like I said before, just made people turn all into bloodthirsty bastards. And you had the crazy creatures that lived in it, and you had to try to stop it. I thought that was really cool, and it kind of gave me a taste of that creepy Resident Evil vibe that I've been craving but unable to quench the thirst for. And god, it's been forever since I've played it, but I remember the battle was so cool. It was kind of dependent on combos, and I believe you had like the D-pad options, up, down, left, right, to enter what combos you wanted to do, and then, you know how combos work. But I've never been one for combos, so I would always just randomly like mash in buttons and hope I would like discover a new art. Anyway, I thought that was pretty rad. It was always exciting, like, ooh, did I press buttons randomly well enough to get a new combo? And I may or may not have had a thing for Vaughn and his blue-haired sexiness. That might have had a role in Legend of Legaia being one of my favorite games. They look a bit similar, don't they? That was such a creepy face, creepy face. Ah, Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon, Harvest Moon, Harvest Moon. I first came across Harvest Moon when I was a wee lad. I was not a lad. A wee lass. And Super Nintendo version. After I figured out what I was trying to do, I was hooked. And so ever since then, I would play it on Game Boy, and then it came out for like Nintendo 64. And then the next Harvest Moon I played after that was Back to Nature. It's tough for me to explain why I love the Harvest Moon game so much. It's inexplicable, honestly. People get addicted to Minecraft. I get addicted to Harvest Moon. A new Harvest Moon game comes out. I really want to play it, but I honestly have to check myself. I have to be like, okay, if I'm going to play Harvest Moon, do I have anything going on in the next like 180 days? If so, I can't do it. I feel like at the time, Harvest Moon Back to Nature was such an incredible leap forward for the series. It just, my mind couldn't handle it. I was like, oh my god, this town is huge, and these festivals are so immersive, and there's so many girls. Oh, they have birthdays I have to accommodate for, and I have to give them gifts, and there's a shop I need to get gift wraps. I need to gift wrap this turnip. And I think one of the reasons I loved Back to Nature so much was one of the same reasons that I really loved Earthbound. You know, you're this little kid, IRL, but you're able to live the life of an adult, which seems so much more appealing when you're talking about the life of an adult in a video game. I mean, I would sit there and plan out my day, like, okay, so I have like 3 chickens, like 6 cows, I need to like water my crops. Oh, and today's Potpourri's birthday. Oh, and then I have to ask so-and-so to the festival at midnight, and there was always something to look forward to, and it just felt like I had so much control over this fake but like immersive, just expansive life that I know I would never really live because the farmer's life just isn't for me. But again, it was a fun little escape. It just made me feel like I could live vicariously through this farmer. My aunt is also into the series, so to go over there and just like shoot the shit about like who we're trying to woo, what animals we have, what crops we're going, what kind of crop formations we have, what's your shipping method, you know, like all that. There's just, you could do anything you wanted with a Harvest Moon. And again, I think that was such a big drawing point for me. Like anything. I mean, you could even like take your chickens and put them in the church. Why? I don't know. I did it because I could. America. Tetris Plus. What's a top 10 list without Tetris, am I right? The truth is, I am not a huge fan of Tetris. It's kind of boring. There's no story to it. There's not a lot going on except for blocks fall down and it causes me anxiety because I fuck up and I miss the holes, and that's what she said. I don't even remember where or how I got Tetris Plus, but I had it, and I remember my parents and we played that game for hours and hours and hours and more hours. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Tetris, Tetris Plus did some pretty fun things. So it would be split screen, so you know, I could be playing a game on the left, my dad could be playing on the right, my mom on the left, my dad on the right, whatever. And it was pretty cool because it had this little dude that would like walk along your bricks, and if he reached the bottom, he would be saved and all would be well. If you reach the bottom of your like map thing, the grid, I don't even know what the fuck it's called, I don't speak Tetris. But constantly on the top is like a chain thing that's coming down with spikes on it, and if your guy like, so let's say you're building up your blocks because you're sucking, so your homie's like rising closer and closer to like the impending doom of the spikes. And if the spikes get him, then game over, you gotta start like that section over. Did I explain that well? So while Tetris itself may not be like one of my like favorite games to play, the nostalgia associated with Tetris Plus is just like irreplaceable. We had so much fun, so many late nights playing that, and to this day I will pop over there and they will be playing it. They'll remember how to work a fat PS2, and it's so cute because they're sitting there with their like corded like dual shocks and they're all like, hey Britt! They're losing and it's adorable. Actually, my mom's really good at Tetris. My dad not so much. Well, those are my numbers 7, 6, and 5s for my top 10 PlayStation 1 video games of all time. Please let me know if you've ever played them or if any of those are in your top 10 as well, because then we can bond and become friends. That's always good. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch me be strange. So thank you. Bye! See you again, guys!